Who are you and what does your company do?
So, um, my name is Kelby Wagner. I'm the direct sales team manager at Hoffman Weber Construction. And Hoffman Weber Construction predominantly focuses in exterior remodeling, the products and getting that done. We have two different markets, retail side of things,
Yeah.
where homeowners can call us if they don't like the color of their siding or the color of their shingle. Or, we can have my team, which is a direct sales team, go out and work for insurance proceeds, helping homeowners get, their insurance claims through and doing the work from, the effects on their home that hail has, damaging siding, windows, roofing. So that's kind of the gist of it.
Cool. And you kind of manage the sales team on more of like the seasonal side, or is that correct? Or is it year-round sales? Like,
Yeah, I mean, if we can find the right people that want to get out and knock, in these crazy, I mean, when the temperatures dip, below 20 degrees, it's hard to find people that, want to go out and knock doors, which is nice because we have an office in Florida.
yeah,
So there's an opportunity to go down there and, knock doors. But I would say predominantly up here in Minnesota, it's seasonal.
yeah. Hey, just a note, tell Joe that we can help blow up the Florida office too.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I know that when you started, you got hired as the leader roughly a year ago. So you started in the leadership role, and they threw you right into the SRU process. So trained you on the group interviews and kind of all of that, right? So what has it been like over the last 12 months, scaling the team and working with us, and starting and stopping recruiting? What are the numbers like? What have the results been like?
I will say, I mean, it's been nice, and especially like my individual personal manager. I think I was working with Julianne first, and now I'm working with Aries. But I mean, when I email you guys, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw my Google review. When I email you guys saying, hey, I need to hold off on this meeting, or I need to hold off on this meeting, or you
Yeah.
know, change the ad to this. I mean, you guys are super responsive, super helpful. Um, and on the ball, I mean, I get responses within, 2 to 3 hours, which is super cool.
Mhm.
Cause when I forget, oh my gosh, I forgot I had a meeting at 1 o'clock today with a homeowner that I need to help out. Like
Yeah.
you schedule all those clients that are on that meeting. But as far as influx and bringing clients in the door, it was super helpful, especially from a person that kind of has little managerial experience, being able to have SRU as like a reliant tool to kind of lean on, where I'm not going out and doing the recruiting myself, printing
Yeah.
out flyers or creating my own job ads on Indeed, just to be able to have that, on the back burner and have that, automated for me.
Hmm.
Super helpful. And it helps that you guys are awesome too. So
Yeah. And I think you were saying clients, but you meant like sales candidates, prospects, right?
yes, yeah.
Recruiting. Yeah. Yeah. So you were going through the numbers a little bit before we started recording. So what does a typical week look like, for you when you're recruiting, like numbers wise?
So I try and keep my interviews to 2 days a week, just because I feel like I did try and increase the interviews to 3 times a week, but I found I was bringing on a lot of people and it was kind of hard to keep track of everybody that I was bringing on.
Yeah.
Uh, but I have my interviews Wednesdays at 1 p.m. just for the people that, are looking for a job, that have time during the day, and maybe they're thinking about it like, oh my gosh, I better start on that job search. And then Fridays at 4 for the people that hate their job and maybe want to switch careers. But it's people that are coming in the door. Um, I get, I'd say 35 to 50 people on that initial Zoom interview. And I run a 3-step process after that Zoom interview. So the Zoom interview being the first step. Second step, we use an entity. It's called Spark Hire. Can record themselves. So typically, like I said, 35 to 50 on the Zoom interview. From that 35 to 50, I usually typically get 15 to 20 that'll fill out a Spark Hire. And then
Hmm.
I, you know, between 2 to 10 people that'll come in for an in-person interview. Um, and then actually end up hiring, maybe 1 to 2 people from that whole class.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a couple group interviews per week, 30 plus people scheduled, 15 people interested. You take them through the video kind of, automated video thing after the
Yep.
group into the final. And then you do roughly five, 2, 5, maybe up to 10 final interviews per week per group interview. So what would you say that like time investment is from a group interview and final interview perspective weekly to get your 2 hires weekly?
Like hours per week, I would say I would say hours per week, including, all the steps that I go through the interview, probably, oh geez, man, I don't know, like 4 or 5 hours per week that I'm
Yeah.
dedicating to that, reaching out to emails, sitting down with the actual interviewee,
Yep.
in to get to that step. Yeah, I'd probably, yeah, maybe I will say 5 to 6 per week.
Yeah. So an hour, hour and a half a day average, 5 to 6 hours per week. And you're getting a couple reps per week, or one, sometimes two reps per week. And you guys are, fairly picky and have a really solid process
Yeah.
to screen out a lot of people.
Yep.
So roughly 6 to 8 hires per a month, it sounds like. And what's retention look like on a monthly basis for you out of those 6 to 8 hires?
So retention, I mean, it being in the industry that I'm in,
Yeah.
canvassing and direct sales, retention is a little lower. But I would say say, at the beginning of this month to the end of this month, we have 6 people. I would say I end up keeping 3 out of the 6.
Yeah. And that's really good from a, commission based door to door sales aspect. So that's awesome. Was there any like unexpected benefits you've seen working with SRU?
Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I said this, but just the fact that I'm able to kind of put, like, if this is automated, right? Like I get the email right before the night before the interviews, I'm able to see how many people I got on, so I can kind of adjust fire.
Yep.
That was cool. And your guys' response and, customer service is super, super cool. I mean, that was unexpected. I mean, I've, working with like other people, like we work with Verizon and a team from Sales Rabbit, which is a sales CRM that we use. And
Mhm.
like they take sometimes days to give. I mean, obviously waiting on hold Verizon. I was waiting on hold
Yeah.
Verizon for like 4 hours yesterday.
Oh gosh, that's a nightmare.
But yeah, you guys are, I mean, the customer service is immaculate. That's probably one
Yeah.
unexpected, like, wow, the at the rate that these people get back to me is just, it's super, like recruiting and onboarding, out of the year and, however many months I've been here I've probably been the thing that I've encountered the least amount of troubles with, the least amount of roadblocks with.
That's awesome. And that's usually the most painful thing of building a
Right.
commission-based sales team.
Right.
So that's awesome to hear. Last note, we'll end it. I know you guys have a really good dialed like onboarding and training and management process already, but if you ever want to plug into like the Wednesday and Thursday coaching and SRU online and all that stuff, we can typically help like increase retention rates by 2x plus by kind of making tweaks around the training management and kind of like
Yeah.
those kind of things. So keep that in mind. Awesome hanging out with you. What would you say to a company considering to work with SRU?
I would say if you have anybody else, like, I don't know if you have anybody else in mind, I would at least say, give SRU a chance, right? Because, I kind of looked at it like, oh, onboarding, like you just said, it's usually one of the most difficult parts. I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna have to print out flyers. I'm gonna have to go, different areas. I'm gonna have to try and poach people. But I mean, I would just say, hey, give them a chance because you'll like the result.
Awesome. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate you. Have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, you too, brother.